of nationalisation and automation, it is always refreshing to come across an example of free enterprise, one that has not necessarily kept up to the times, but has nonetheless been successful. One such example is here in the Forest of Dean. For it is here that you will find the only coal mines in the country not owned by the National Coal Board. There have been mines of one sort or another in the forest for centuries. Long ago, as 450 BC, the Celts were mining iron ore here, beginning a large industry which has only recently declined. Coal mining came into its own in the late 18th century, and at one time there were over 120 in active service. Today, only about 20 of these mines are in use, but the men who work them, the free miners, are still much in evidence. One such man is Mr. Bert Hinton, who with his 3 brothers worked this mine near Coleford. Mr. Hinton, if you can hear me over the noise of the woodcutters, what is a free miner?
Well, he's a man over 21 years of age, born and bred in the Forest of Dean, inside the boundary of the Forest of Dean under the Brevos boundary, and he's worked a year and a day at the coal face. That qualifies him by registering at the Gaver's office, which is a coal.
Why don't you come under the National Coal Board?
Well, it's the only area in the country where there's free mining taking place. There's also licensed mines working in the Forest of Dean, working to the Coal Board.
How long have you yourself and your brothers, come to that, been free miners?
Well, we've been free miners a number of years, but we've only been operating as free mining since 1956.
How big is your mine here?
Well, it's the biggest now in the forest. It's employing the most men, and well, I expect the biggest output.
What sort of depth do you go down to?
Well, we're working by drift, and it's 400 yards to the dip of face. But straight down from the surface it would be 350 feet.
What sort of depth of seam are you working in?
Well, it's house coal, which are the thin seams of the Forest of Dean, and it's supposed to average 2 foot 4 in thickness. But of course what we're up against here mostly is the variation in the thickness, giving us perhaps a yard down to 15 inches, often 12.
How many men do you employ?
We're 9 at the moment.
And what about your hours per week?
Never finished.
Well, how does your output per man compare with the coal board pits?
Well, of course, in this area, we're working house coal, and there's more turnover in house coal than what there is in steam coal, and our output is down to the national average, but at the same time, we're quite happy with it.
Now, there are comparatively few of these free mines left. How do you look to your future of this free enterprise mining?
Oh, we feel all right in that respect. There's plenty of scope, like, and there's quite a bit of coal left that can be worked with free mining.
Well, I think I'd better let you get back to getting some of it out. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much.
The free miners of the Forest of Dean have a long heritage behind them. Let us hope that the coal industry's last bastion of free enterprise will be allowed to flourish for many years to come.